I'd like to call the meeting of the Show Low City Council to order. Show that all council members are present except for Vice Mayor has to be excused tonight. Tonight, I've asked Councilman Clark to lead us in invocation, followed by the pledge, and I'll lead us in the pledge. If you'd all like to stand and join us, you may do so.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to gather tonight as a council and to discuss the needs of the citizens of Show Low. We're thankful, Father, for the wonderful conditions that we meet under at this time. We're thankful for the moisture that has been falling upon our lands and being able to replenish our streams and our aquifers. We're grateful for Thou blessing us at this time. And we know that it was Thy hand that provided it. We are thankful for this community and for those who serve diligently. We pray Thou bless and watch over our first responders and help them help the Timber Mesa Fire District as they have gone through a very difficult few weeks, that they will be able to heal and to feel Thy grace. We pray for them and pray for the families of those firefighters who we've lost, and pray that Thou will please protect and be with them. We ask that Thou will please be with the citizens of Globe in Miami at this time, that as they are recovering from the floods that have fallen upon them, that they will be able to have Thy peace and Thy love in their lives. And we pray that Thou will help the hearts of the citizens and the people of Arizona and this great nation to reach forth and help them overcome this very difficult times. We recognize Thy hand always and are grateful for Thee and for Thy Son, Jesus Christ, and for His life and His atonement. May Thy Spirit be with us this night. We pray in Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Clark. Now, if we can get the rest of the government to do that with our flag and get along, we'd be in great shape. Next item on the agenda is call to the public. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that is within the jurisdiction of the City Council may do so at this time. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall be addressed to the City Council as a whole. Issues raised shall be limited to those within the jurisdiction of the City Council. Pursuant to the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the City Council cannot discuss or act on items presented at this time. At the conclusion of the call to the public, council members may respond to criticism made by those who have spoken, ask staff to review a matter, and ask that a matter be put on a future agenda.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda are special events, a presentation by Nexus Coalition for Drug Prevention. Mrs. Solomon.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you so much for having me here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Vicki Solomon. I'm the Executive Director for Nexus Coalition for Drug Prevention, and I've been running this business for about 10 years now. And I just wanted to come and give you a quick little update on things that are going on in your community. And first, just a couple of things. The two main reasons why we exist is to reduce substance use and increase resiliency and connection among the parents and caregivers. And then the second one is to establish and strengthen collaboration and connection among community organizations. And so every single day Nexus team gets up, this is what we're working on right there. And how we do that is we collaborate with 12 different sectors in each of the communities. And I see a lot of my partners sitting out in the audience, and I'm very thankful for them. We work with youth, parents, schools, law enforcement, religious, civic volunteers, news, media, businesses, and others. So what that means is anybody that's breathing in the county, we want to work and collaborate with you. And so what do? We do lots of education throughout the communities. We have youth and drug education. We also have adult trainings. And the grant year, I haven't got the updated numbers yet. I was hoping to have them for tonight. Our grant year runs from September to October, and we just finished the 24-25. So I'll be updating these numbers. These ones were the 22-23 numbers, but we had around 13,000 adults that participated and 13,000 youth that participated in our education and trainings. We had about 6,800 activities, and then 986 naloxone, which is Narcan. We distributed 986 of that, along with the training that goes with it. And then there's right around 69,000 education pieces of material. And so you got little Nexus packets. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what we distribute throughout the community. When we ran a statewide in connection with Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona, we ran a statewide, I guess it was a survey, and what the communities told us through Arizona statewide is they wanted more information out there. So that's the reason why that number is so high, is because we're trying to do what we were asked to do by the communities. Over on the adult training side, I do want to put a little I guess, dib in on that. We do naloxone training for any staff members in any organizations throughout Navajo County. We've done quite a few within the Sholo Council, or I'm sorry, the Sholo, I don't even know how to say it, organization. And we've had some really good luck with that. So if anybody needs or wants any of that training, please let us know, and we provide that for free. So here's some local highlights. We just wanted to show you some stats. We collaborate with the Teen Court and Diversion. Looks like we had 57 classes with about 234 youth that were impacted by that. And really super cool. We work with Sholo School District and a couple of the judges. And it's just a phenomenal program that they've got for the youth. And amazingly, the youth sometimes, whenever they're ordered to go to us, they're a little bit hesitant, but after the first time meeting us, they always want to come back, and some of them ask to invite their friends, and we say, absolutely, bring them on. So 100% youth said that the sessions helped them. 100% of the youth said that they have a new goal not to use alcohol or substances, and then 97% of the youth said that they've learned new skills to help avoid future negative consequences. So those are some pretty high numbers, and I love it. We always survey our kiddos, and I work with an outside evaluator, and she runs all the numbers and figures. And when I see things this high, I always say, "Can you please make sure those are accurate?" And they are. So that's kind of cool. I love that. But anyways, there's just a little more information on our diversion program. I've got 3 ladies right now who run that program: Brittany Quintanilla, Stormy Rawlings, and Cheyenne Layton. There's kind of the leads in those programs. Also, something unique about this program, with the diversion side of it, it can be referred to by a grandma or an aunt or a mother or a father or the school principals. Those kids can be referred by any means, and it's not necessarily the turkey buzzards that need all the help. There are some kiddos that are stressed out, that push themselves too hard, and they're just having some problems that they need help with. And so they're referred to our diversion program as well. And it's kind of cool to be able to see the different kinds of youth interact with each other and positive outcomes in that. We run a junior leadership academy, and Brant has been part of that in the past, and it's been running for about, I believe this was the 18th year. And we run a small program, 15 youth in White River. We run about 28 to 30 in Blue Ridge, and then Snowflake for the last 4 or 5 years. We run right around 25 or 30 youth there. And we would love for Sholo to jump on board again with us with that. But we have some really positive outcomes. It's a 2-week program that the kiddos get to come in, and we try to immerse them in their individual communities that we hold that in, and let them know of the different things that that are out there. And then also, it's based on just leadership building with these youth. So some cool things happen. Here's some comments from the caregivers. Amazing program. Kids need life skills. Great job. My youth struggles with self-esteem. This program was very positive for her. I love how my daughter made new friends and enjoyed everything that was done. Amazing program for youth. I wish all youth could and would attend. So whenever we survey youth, and we also survey parents in this particular program, and it's been pretty phenomenal. Some other things that we're involved in your area is a safety village. Kirk Webb has ran that. When I worked for Navajo County Public Health 16 years ago is when I started collaborating with him, and this program is still up and running, and we collaborate. You can see the large numbers. We went to 9 different schools and was able to serve lots of youth in those schools. And then there's a picture of search and rescue, their fentanyl naloxone training. Obviously, they've had naloxone training before, but some of the comments that I heard, I actually taught this class myself, was that there was information in the class that I've never heard about when it comes to the fentanyl training portion, and so they were very appreciative of that. But we also try to do some fun things with the color runs and the different things that happen in your community. Our little art contest. These youth are amazing what they come up with. This was a couple of those top 3 there are the first, second, and third prize winners. And then also something really cool that I actually just printed these today is we were chosen as one of the nonprofits to be in the Giving Machine. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I think somebody's coming on the next town council. I'm going to update you a little bit more on that. But the Giving Machine will be here in Show Low for 2 weeks, and then it's going to head on over to Snowflake for 2 weeks. And so there's some information I have in the little packet on Nexus and the Giving Machine. What an honor that is to be able to be in there. It's pretty dang cool. And it's been a crazy process of getting in that far. Here's just a little snapshot of the different items that we have free for the community. Everything we do for anybody is always free. And like I said, our goal is to help people build resiliency. Our suicide rate is over 43% higher than any other state in the nation. And it's in Navajo County particularly that is a problem. And just on Monday, we had another youth suicide attempt. He was 15, 16 years old, and it just breaks our hearts. Thank goodness it wasn't a complete follow-through. He's in some counseling help right now, but our youth are struggling as well as our adults as well. So if we can get in and help with that resiliency, we've got these cool little stickers. We did a mental health campaign, and we have like thousands and thousands of these. If you know of anybody in the community that would like them, I've been putting them on my mugs, and they are dishwasher safe. I ran it through the dishwasher 2 or 3 different times, and it hasn't peeled or came off yet. But we just want people to know that you are enough. Talk a little nicer to yourself. It's okay to not feel okay. That's normal. Inhale, exhale, repeat. Messing up is proof that you are trying, and so on and so forth. And then on there's a little scan. When anybody scans that, it's resources to get help. And in our rural community here, sometimes there's not a whole lot of hands-on help, but we did find a couple of organizations here locally, and then also telehealth medicine for kiddos and all the way up into adult age that have been very helpful, and they treat you like human beings and not robots. And so we're very particular who we put on our website when we refer people. We make sure that we've kind of been through the process and vetting them. And so anytime you go to our website, anybody that's on there, they've kind of gone through a Nexus vetting process. But we do naloxone training, resiliency workshops. Destiny is providing a Zoom training every Thursday from 5 to 6 for adults. And we're kind of focusing in on families of loved ones with addictions, because we found that there is a gap in that. So that's what we're focusing on right now for that Thursday night. And then we have things for school, for community members. And again, we just want to promote that crisis line. Really cool if someone has a mental health crisis. Your crisis may be different than my crisis. It's okay to call. Maybe I just need to talk to someone on the phone, or maybe they want to send somebody out to help me, or maybe we need to be taken somewhere for some services. But it starts with that 1-844-534-4673 number. And with that, is there any questions or concerns about Nexus Coalition?
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Obviously, you guys are making a difference in our community, and it's amazing what you do for sure. I mean, I know I can probably speak for everybody up here. We certainly appreciate it. What I'm curious about when you talk about the kiddos, is there a certain age group that we're more concerned about than others? Is it kind of, how does that?
You know, it's crazy. What we're seeing is vaping is starting at the age of 8 and 9 years old. I know it's crazy to believe. We had one kiddo come in and he said he's been vaping since he was 5. And we asked why. And there was an older sibling that was vaping and he didn't want to get in trouble, so he had his little brother start when he was 5. And now he's addicted. He's 8 years old and addicting to vaping. So honestly, we see that from 8 years old all the way up. Our focus in primary prevention is the 4th grade, 5th grade, that 10 years old, 9, 10 years old. Because if we can get to them before they actually start using, it's better. But we educate from 3rd grade all the way through high school. Where I see the most like mental health is we've got girls in 5th grade, that 10 years old. They're mean to each other. I don't know why. And then also when we get into high school, there's some change that's going on, obviously. And then whenever they add substance use with that brain development change, it just kind of messes things up quite a bit. So we have a wonderful program called BTAPS, Belief, Trust, Acceptability, Persistence, and Strength. And we get them in and we teach them about how the brain works and why their body's doing what it's doing. And once they understand, they kind of feel like they can have empowerment and then make some changes on their own. So we're trying to talk them into making the changes on their own instead of telling them, do, because we know how teenagers are. They fight back with that. So it's kind of all over the map, unfortunately.
Anybody else? Councilman Clark?
Yeah, Vicki, I thought you were coming here tonight to tell us that we'd officially won the war on drugs, so I was kind of surprised that we haven't been victorious yet, but until that day happens, I want to thank you and your team for what you do. I don't think people realize the full breadth until they see a presentation like this. And I think the other thing that's remarkable about you is that you do it with such grace, with such poise, and with such excitement. And there's an energy that you give off where people, you mentioned how long you've been doing this, and a lot of people would have been discouraged by now. They would have gotten a little bit downtrodden, but you have not done that. And so we appreciate what you do for our community because you really are saving lives. I think that that's one of the things that, you didn't get up here and tell us all the horror stories, which you could have, but you had a very cheerful disposition about the positive things you're doing. And so we thank you for that because that's very rare in our community sometimes. And so thanks for doing that, Vicki.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We do have people working in Nexus, and we've had a lot of people come through and not stay. And it's because you have to be positive and love the community. Thank you.
Amazing what you guys do. Anybody else comments? Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is presentation by the Show Low Chamber of Commerce. Erica and Sunshine.
Thank you for having us, Mayor and Council. I want to introduce Erica. Some of you have met her. She's been at the Chamber for almost 3 years with me. She just graduated from Show Low High School this past May, and she's a current U of A criminal justice major with aspirations of entering the legal field. And with that, we're going to work on public speaking tonight.
Okay, like she said, my name's Erica. Thanks for listening. So far 2025, we've had 2,100 visitors step into our Tourist Information Center, give or take a little more since this presentation was created, with our website and then constantly having it updated and kind of leaning more towards what people want nowadays. Our digital visitor counts are up to 49,000 visitors on our website and then 1.6 million social media views, and then we just recently became monetized on Facebook. Currently, we have 392 members, and we've been upholding a 97% retention rate with our members year over year. So, pretty proud of that. With those new members and then constantly growing, we had to bring in some more help. So we brought in Sean. He's a local entrepreneur. He owns PR Mac, which is a marketing and media company. You may also know him because he's the president for Pet Allies and then also volunteers with the Snowflake Taylor Chamber and with the Historical Museum there, and he's become a vital part of our chamber team. Here's our board of executive board, Kathy, Kyle, Shyla, and Cassie. Shyla was brought on because we had another member step down due to scheduling conflicts, so she graciously stepped up and started to help out. Here is our financials. In Arizona Credit Union, we have just over 8,000, and in National Bank, just over 27,500. It's lower because we're prorating throughout the remainder of the year to fix our pricing structure come January. So the numbers aren't as accurate as they would be compared to last year, but it's allowing us to grow more. Here are our chamber ambassadors. Pam, which is the chair for the ambassadors, and Veronica, Rick, and Suzanne are the ones who help, and they're the fun people of the chamber who go and like to visit businesses and talk to them. We have quite a bit happening throughout the remainder of this year. We have the rest of the No Cost Business Class series coming up for November and December. We also have our monthly business luncheons, which is the first Wednesday of every month, at the Arts Lines, as well as our Chamber Gala and Awards that are coming up in the beginning of December. We're also doing monthly ribbon cutting and mixers for the business members that inquire, and then we're also coming out with our 2025 Visitors Guide partnered with Maverick Magazine. Thank you. Any questions?
Wow, Sunshine, you're in trouble. Very nice job. Very nice. So what are you doing difference in the retention of keeping members? What I noticed that's a lot higher than the past, and also new members. What are you doing?
So one thing we started to do is kind of, especially with bringing Sean on, outreach. We've been stopping into our current members, also businesses who we'd love to become members in the future, maybe had a bad experience with the chamber in the past, kind of stopping in, seeing what we can do for them, what they like, what they don't like, just kind of reminding them that we know they're there and we're not just taking their check every year and ignoring them.
And as you might not know, that was something I preached for years with the chamber when I was a member at one time with my business. They'd send me a bill. It's like, I never seen a chamber member in my life, so I appreciate that. Any other questions or comments?
You did a great job. You did
Yeah.
a great job as public speaking, and I would highly recommend not becoming an attorney. So
Oh, that's my
stay
whole
away from
plan.
it. You'll be much happier, and you might keep a full head of hair. So
I wouldn't say that. I'm not an attorney.
yeah, don't run an auto body shop. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Keep up the great work. Yeah, don't have your own business.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, yeah. Good job, Erica. Okay, next item on the agenda is presentation from the Show Law Advisory Committee. Mr. Winslow. You're ready to go.
All I have to do is press it once.
I don't know, we'll see. If you press it once, it doesn't work, press it again. It'll work.
That's good. Thank you and good evening, Mayor Leach and the council. And my name is Gary Winslow, and I represent the Airport Advisory Committee. And our group is all here tonight. We had elections last April, and I was elected to be chairman. Mr. David Murray, vice chairman. John Hanna, Patrick Krug, and Don Lusk are all our current members. We elected to reduce the number of meetings from 4 times a year to twice a year, with the option to hold special meetings as the need arises, and the airport committee now meets in April and October. Commercial leases, operating agreements, amendments, language, rent deposits, security deposits, holdover rents, associated rates. These were all driven by damage to one of our hangar facilities and an issue with a tenant that didn't leave timely, and changes were made to protect the airport. Rent deposits cover any unpaid rent, damages, and other charges during the lease, and security deposits secure performance of tenants' obligations under the lease. The example, payments for rent, repair, any damage. Holdover rent in case the person or tenant stays longer than he's supposed to. Commercial insurance matrix for commercial operators. We visited this subject as a result of trying to make sure that we had the exact matrix for making sure that we had a competitive situation. Other airports in the area had different rates, and we took a look at all of them and came up with a plan to update ours, and we did. And it came out very nicely. In fact, it caused an investment in an airplane to become a flight training airplane for our area, which was the end result of this, which was very nice. Approval of proposed changes to current rates and charges for the Show Low Regional Airport. Management had reviewed all the rates and charges and provided a revised schedule of rates and charges, which the committee reviewed and recommended adoption, and also became very competitive. Open meeting law training. Ms. Anna Atencio held that meeting, and it came in well for our new members, as well as refresh for our old ones. The last time I went through my notes that I had on this, it was 2019, and Morgan Brown produced the event at that time. Noise abatement discussions. We talked about that quite a bit at our last meeting. And one of the results of that, and I know that sometimes we all hear about these complaints at the airport, and we really decided that because of the FAA's rules, we had to not be able to put signs up telling people what to do, because that's illegal to them. It affects air operations and so forth. And as a pilot, I know something about those things, but our airport manager decided to be so kind and update the Airman's Information Manual. It's called an AIM. And what they can do there is recommend that the aircraft operate by taking off on runway 25, which is the principal runway for departure, and making a right turn, some type of right turn. We haven't decided what degree, but it could be 20 degrees or 30 degrees, but make a right turn to avoid overflying the city. And that's, I think, a smart move on our part to get that included, because a lot of our local pilots know that, but when it's an out-of-area pilot, they're supposed to read the AIM and know something about the airport. And so by having that published, that would be a good thing. We also talked a lot about insurance and all the requirements, not just the tenants and their hangars, but the vehicles that operate on the airport. And just to make sure the city is totally protected, we want to make sure that when we do invite outsiders, meaning guests, classic car people, those kinds of things to display vehicles on the airport, that they have insurance. And to do that, somebody came up with a real nice idea, is to just have them show the card and take a picture of it, and then you got a record of it and that you've monitored and made sure that they comply. And I thought that was pretty good. So we're happy to have that in place. Different subject, but I think close to everyone's mind is Contour Airlines, and we think very highly of them. And take a look at their performance over the last year, and you can see that they started off in October about a year ago with 684 people, and now we're up over 1,100 people just last month. And that 9751 approaching 10,000, that's sort of a nice number that the FAA likes to look at when they're looking at levels of performance for the airport itself. So really happy with that. The percent of not being on time is very competitive with all the major airlines. It runs in the 80% range, and 0%, zero cancellations this year. That was something that the previous operators always really had trouble with. Man, all I could hear about was people bad-mouthing Boutique and then Southern about not having airplanes to fly, or there's a cloud in the sky and they can't come today, or whatever the reason would be. But Contour, I think, shows very good progress with that, and we're very happy with that.
Mr. Winslow, before you take off this slide, some of us who are involved with the airport, we get really excited about this slide. Jacob, you might have to help me talk about the funding aspect of this. Our normal, typical yearly allocated funds used to be $150,000 because we were under 10,000 employments. And that's just what you got yearly. They adjusted this funding slightly, where now it's a sliding scale, and we got about 300,000 this last year. Is that correct? Which is good. That's an improvement. Once you top that 10,000 employment mark, I believe we're eligible for $1 million a year. So we're talking some significant.
Talking about some real money. That's
So
good.
this is kind of where we're headed, as you can see by the trending. We hope it continues. Did I get that right, Jacob?
Yep. And some of the council members will recall when we were talking about bringing Contour to Sholo, we talked about it was mathematically impossible to reach that level of employments with our previous carriers. And now with Contour providing triple the seats per flight, that we can now get into those employment numbers that really increase our level of federal funding on an annual basis. So.
Reliability has a lot to do with that.
Or jump in. It's just good news.
If you've all had flown on their aircraft, I don't know if you have, but it's a Brazilian airplane. And the reason I know that is because that's where I'm from. It was built, it's called an ERJ 135, and it's around a 30-passenger twin jet. And as proven, I don't know how old this particular airplane is, but it's been around a while. And they're flying 165s and 175s now. In fact, some of the news today about the people banging on the cabin, you probably saw that. And they had an emergency landing in Nebraska somewhere. No, it was Omaha, Epley Field. And I guess the talking between the cabin attendants and pilots failed. We'll get to the bottom of that, or the news will tell us what happened, I'm sure. And they were banging on the door. And of course, the pilots go, whoa, can't talk to them, and we don't know what this is all about. Turn the airplane around and land it. And so they did that. That's pretty interesting.
It was a Embraer, but not Contour, right?
No, not Contour. No, it was American Airlines. It was American Airlines. It was one of the majors.
Disclaimer.
Airport activity highlights. FAA Part 139 certification inspection, August 6th to 8th. We passed with flying colors. Apparently there was a small warranty item painting the numbers on the runway, and they were fading. And so they're going to come back and redo those for us, so that's good. Capital improvement projects, fiscal year 27 through 31. It's a 5-year ASIP meeting. FAA and ADOT approved those. The Crosswind Runway Focus Planning Study submitted to the FAA, and that's been approved. Crosswind Runway Environmental Assessment Consultant Scope and Fee have been approved. And believe it or not, that's going to start in November. The clock is going to start ticking on their progress with that. I believe our Dibble,
Dibble.
What are they
That's
called?
going before council, actually,
okay.
tonight.
Oh, wow. So that's good news. 2 large helicopter parking pads, construction to begin in the spring. And DOT issued 2 grants for airfield lighting projects. And let me tell you what those are. They're a rail and a PAPI. And a rail is a runway end identification light. That tells you where the end of the runway is. And a PAPI is a precision approach path indicator. And so what it does is when the aircrafts are descending towards the runway, they see those lights and they tell them you're high or low. And it's a go, no-go kind of thing. There's a red light and a white light. If you see a white light or 2 white ones, you know you're high. If you see 2 red ones, you know you're low. And it's set for about 3 degrees, which is a normal approach path for landing. But those 2 things have been missing from our airport for, I want to say, 5 years, maybe longer. And they were here when I first came, but they went away in a snowstorm or a thunderstorm, and now they're going to come back. So that's good news. Hangars, We got 3 new hangars. Oops, I went too far. How do I go back? Previous. And all 3 of them that the city council approved, the leases, and have been built. 2 of them are completed, and 1 of them is almost completed. And that's Phase 1 in hangar infrastructure project. That's also completed. And one of the hangars is getting built on that. And Phase 2 is about to start, so that's good news. And those are the big dog operation, as you probably see the signs here and there. Airport parking lot expansion project, that's to begin next week. And from what I hear, it's going to be twice as large a parking area as we've had, which is kind of nice. City of Show Low's hangar and roof replacement was underway, and I think it's done now. Okay, so that's good news. And the old Bureau of Indian Affairs roof replacement was completed earlier this year, and it's going to get new windows and doors. And that used to be the terminal before their current terminal. So that's good news. And our building has got painted, it looks beautiful. It's going to have a new bathroom, a new floor, and a new airport entry sign. And I don't know anything about that, but you could tell us where that's going to be. Is it out on the highway?
It'll replace the sign on the.
Out on the highway?
Presentation there, the top of the presentation, which is just the main entry sign.
Okay, out on the highway, on Highway 60.
Yeah. And Mikey Mariscal with community services working on that.
Well, that's
For
super.
several locations around here.
That sounds like a good deal. And thank you very much. Any questions? There's probably quite a few. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a question. So we have to hit 10,000 passengers per year, that's September to October, to get the extra, the $1 million for the,
We're on target for that.
So the emplanements are on a rolling year, but Contour just happened to begin service in October of 2024, so we just now have 1 year's worth of data.
okay.
But that funding increase, so we just received the 300,000 this year, which is an increase from the 150,000 we had previously been getting based on 2023 emplanement numbers, which were much lower than these numbers. But like Shane mentioned, the sliding scale, the closer you get to 10,000, the closer you get to $1 million. Over 10,000, an airport like Sky Harbor, has hundreds of thousands of emplanements a year. And so their funding is dictated by how many emplanements. So it was just the magic number prior to the sliding scale being introduced. Their 10,000 was the number that had your entitlements per year jump from 150,000 to 1 million. But with the latest FAA reauthorization bill, they introduced this sliding scale. So we won't actually see entitlements increase to that $1 million level until 2 years beyond when we actually have those emplanements, just because that's when those numbers will be considered. So, it'll probably be a couple of years before we start receiving that funding. But the good news is we have Contour now. They've been operating for 1 year, and our contract is for 4 years through October of 2028. So that will translate into dollars for the airport.
Right now, on a going basis, if you just do quick math, you'll see that there's somewhere north of 15,000 going to be for a year. So we're on a pretty nice upscale.
You're doing the impossible, as they said a year ago, as you pointed out, the competitor. So,
And that all started in Page, I think, didn't it?
Contour's first location out of Phoenix was Page, yes.
Yep.
So I can tell you, I appreciate what you guys are doing out there, and, some of the events that you're holding out there. I see there's a lot of kids out there, so it's pretty exciting. I met with a gentleman today that wanted to talk about the airport. I think, Jacob, you got a email from him too. But I thought he wanted to talk about the airport, which he did. He praised the airport. it's funny to think that we need to possibly more room at the airport, the terminal. And we would have never thought this a few years ago. It's like, yeah, we're lucky to have an airplane. So the thought of possibly redoing the airport, you know, there's some room under the roof that we might have to redo. But the exciting part is I know a year ago, we would have never have thought we'd outgrow the terminal. But to think that we might have to start thinking about possibly making that bigger is pretty exciting. And it's all because of the airlines and the reliability of that airlines, that people will fly. Before, people were scared to death of never getting home. You know, they might fly out of here, but the chances of getting back are in a cab. So it's nice to see that the promises that they made, they're sticking to it for sure. I'd like to see them involved in the community a little more, but we'll work on that. Let's just get the airplane there and back. But I know we used to hear up here a lot of issues, and it's nice to know that we have people praising the airlines and the airport. But like I said, I know I talked to the city manager a little bit about it today. We definitely got to make that terminal a little bit bigger, which is a kind of a cool problem. Really is.
It's a problem to have.
Yes, it is.
Too many sales.
And I can tell you guys, they have events out there you need to go to. They're really cool seeing some of those old airplanes and stuff like that. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work out there. Appreciate it.
Nice to have the support of the city for the airport.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a feather in Sholo's cap.
Yes.
And that's always, again, a nice problem to have.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Winslow. Okay, next item on the agenda, it's that time of year again. We might get snow. We do this plan for snow, Rick, and we never have snow. So let's hope we have snow and you have this plan working. So we need snow.
Night for presentations. Can I just say if it snows, we'll be there?
Yep. Yes,
Will that work? Any takers?
I like that.
All right. All right, let's jump into this. Ryan couldn't be here tonight. He's busy with family stuff, so good evening, Mr. Mayor and council and staff. Staff would like to take this opportunity to present the 25-26 snow plan. During a snow event, the city is split into 14 routes and 28 plow operators are responsible for clearing 250 lane miles of streets in Sholo. When a call out is necessary, up to 14 of the 28 drivers will begin plowing their assigned routes simultaneously. The map on the screen depicts the 14 routes that are usually followed by the drivers during the snow event. The main pieces of equipment include 4 10-wheel dump trucks, 2 6-wheel dump trucks, 3 loaders with plows, and several pickup trucks for cul-de-sacs and smaller right-of-ways. In conjunction with the street operations, the Parks and Facility Maintenance Team leader, Lane Rogers, will start cleaning sidewalks, parking lots, and city-owned buildings, which include the bus barn, aquatic center, senior center, police department, city hall, library, museum, and streetscape on the Deuce clubs, cemetery, city campus, several parks, and parks trails. The main pieces of equipment used by them are 4 pickup trucks, 2 side-by-sides with plows, 2 tractors equipped with Gannons, front loaders, and of course several snow shovels. During a snow event, shift leader Ryan Hall, Lane, or myself will be out assessing the need for the equipment and personnel that may be needed to be deployed for snow removal or de-icing operations to commence. Snow removals are classified into 4 levels. Level 1 is reserved for 1/2 inch to 2 inches of snow. When the snow starts to fall, Ryan, Lane, and I will start monitoring the streets and facilities for any slick areas that may need treatment, such as cinders or de-icer, in areas that are pre-approved by council. Level 2 is reserved for 2 to 3 inches of snowfall. At this point, Public Works is out making sure all school bus routes, collector streets, transit routes, and city-owned parking lots remain open in a combination of light plowing and cinder spreading. At this point, Shift B, led by Jeremiah Johnson, will be put on standby for a full call-out. Level 3 is reserved for 3 or more inches of snow and triggers a full call-out of 2 12-hour shifts, Shift A and Shift B. These shifts are supervised by Ryan and Jeremiah. Public Works will continue snow removal operations until the streets are open and passable for traffic. After the snow has ceased to fall on the streets, we will be widening curb to curb by Public Works. The next step is to follow a predetermined sidewalk list that is in the snow plan and including City Hall parking and the entire downtown area. Level 4 is reserved for a severe event that triggers a haul off of snow that impedes traffic and rescue services to pre-approved dump sites. I added this paragraph because we have a lot of complaints in this area when we do plow snow. During snow operations, staff will make several passes on your street. The initial pass will be to get a traffic lane open so people can get to and from work or emergency vehicles can get to their destination safely. The second pass will be to widen the snow to 2 lanes of traffic so they can pass with ease. The third pass is now to open the road from curb to curb, and that's when you should shovel your driveway and sidewalk areas. We'll make our first pass and people inevitably in the middle of the night will be out there shoveling snow trying to open their driveways. We're gonna come back by them and shove it back in. There's no way we can stop it. The last function of the snow plan is a courtesy removal of snow berms for the elderly and disabled citizens of the city. The city will return to the pre-approved locations for snow berm removal when a resident has successfully submitted a snow berm removal form that states they are physically unable to shovel snow. A snow berm removal form is available upon request at Show Low City Hall or by calling Public Works Department at 928-532-4100 or by downloading the form online at www.showlowaz.gov. The current approved number of applications is nearing 200 now. During a snow event, the airport will be conducting braking action tests on the runway with a Beaumont AFM2 decelerometer. I always mess this one up, decelerometer. Or is that how you say it, Jake? Decelerometer. Thank you. Or equivalent to determine what action needs to take place to keep the airport functional. As the need arises, additional resources and manpower may be rotated to assist in the snow removal process. Staff has created a policy regarding mailbox damage due to snow plow operations. Staff recognizes that the post office regularly has the resident put their mailbox in the city's right-of-way or will not deliver mail to them. The city has a mailbox permitting policy that gives the citizens direction on materials that can be used and where the mailbox can be placed. This permit can be obtained at the City Hall's Planning and Zoning Department if a resident feels their mailbox is damaged by snow plow operations. The resident must immediately report the damage to the Public Works Department at phone number 928-532-4100 or email us at bhines@showlowaz.gov. To have a city representative verify the damage is indeed due to snowplow operations and not for other reasons like rotted posts or pre-existing conditions, that is documented by the Public Works Department during pre-snow operation inspections. If it has been determined that the mailbox was indeed damaged solely by snowplow operations, the citizen has the option to make a claim to the city, have the city replace the mailbox, or fix it themselves and submit a receipt to the city for up to $125 of reimbursement. Please remember, the city will not replace specialized mailboxes. Do you guys have any questions?
Well, that was quick. I just hope we can use all that this winter. I really do. And I'm really excited, even better, that when you have to plow it 2, 3, 4 in the morning, you have a place to go warm up. So get that new building done. I'm pretty excited about that, but we need to fill up our lakes. I know Show Low Lake needs some water, so.
Yes.
Other questions or comments? Keep up the good work. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Pray for snow. Not yet. Soon. Let's wait a little bit. Okay, next item on the agenda is consent calendar. Proclamation by the mayor proclaiming November 16th through the 22nd, 2025 as Community Fast of Compassion for Those in Need Week. Consideration of acceptance of the Show Low Lake Campground Playground equipment. You got to go see that too. That's amazing. Consideration of acceptance of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety grants, more officers patrolling our streets. Consideration of non-commercial ground lease with Stephen and Kimberly something. Get it here. Hickam. And termination of ground lease with John Erst. Consideration of order of construction to Dibble and Associates Consulting Engineers. Consideration of the minutes of the Show Low City Council meeting study session, October 1st, 2025, and our special meeting also on October 1st, 2025. Anybody want to pull anything or talk about anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion for the consent calendar as read. I got a motion, I got a second by Councilman Hatch. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. If I could have the city clerk read Proclamation A, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Whereas community service has always been a part of America's as well as Show Low's heritage, and whereas the number of those in need in our area seems to be an always growing number, and the people of our community have always shown a sincere desire to help those in need, especially during the holiday season. And whereas a number of faith-based and other organizations approached the city of Show Low in 2013 with a plan to help those in need in our community. And whereas the city of Show Low embraced this concept, out of which was born the Community Fast of compassion for those in need. And whereas the city of Show Low and its citizens have discovered that the Community Fast is a very worthwhile cause that has made a huge difference in the lives of many in our community. Now, therefore, John Leach Jr., Mayor, on behalf of the Show Low City Council, does hereby proclaim November 16th to the 22nd of 2025 as as Community Fast of Compassion for Those in Need Week, and urges all citizens of Show Low to come together for the annual Community Fast of Compassion for Those in Need, joining us in setting aside one day during this week to fast and pray for guidance, grace, and protection for our great city and nation as we address the challenges of our time and the concerns of those in need. Donate the cost of 1 or 2 meals or more if possible from this fast to this worthy cause, with donations being accepted at Show Low City Hall, National Bank of Arizona, Chase Bank, the Arizona Central Credit Union, and online at showlowcommunityfast.org. And join us in a community celebration on Sunday, November 23rd at 5 p.m. at the Show Low School District Auditorium. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall. Before we have you come up here to accept this proclamation and say a few words, I'd like to show a little video.
The Community Fast of Compassion is something that happens annually the week in November before going into the Thanksgiving holiday. And the way it works is you abstain from 2 meals, and then you take the money that you would have spent on those meals and you donate it. Organizations who are recipients of funds take that funding and they help families over the holidays to just make their lives a little brighter and a little better. And it's really this mindset that we're going to take care of each other. And that's the spirit of it. The Community Fast of Compassion celebration happens on Sunday at the end of the week where the fast takes place.
And again, the exciting part is the 23rd. I can tell you at the high school, you got to come to that where everybody comes together and shows video. So I challenge anybody listening to please show up to that. My first time I went was years ago, and I've been addicted ever since. And just because the mayor is the only one that gets to talk doesn't mean I don't want to be there. So I love going there. I look forward to it every year. But if Steve, you'd like to bring your committee up here and maybe say a few words about the fast. Just amazing how this came apart in the last, how many years now?
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This will be the 13th year of the fast. So the committee is made up of the mayor, myself, Steve Heckathorn, who couldn't be here tonight, Jared Hall, who was here but got called out, Tom Brown, Kyle B. Croft, and Becky Clark. And thank you for the city putting together that video. So as the video talked about, 100% of the monies that are donated every year, 100% are turned around and kept here locally and given to local helping organizations. So in the first 12 years of the fast, almost $375,000 has been donated by our citizens, which is roughly on average a little north of $30,000 a year. Last year there was almost $50,000 donated. And there was 28 helping organizations that received monies last year. All of the schools, veterans organizations, Safe House, the White Mountain Women's Club, the Elks Lodge, just a lot of organizations that are in place to identify people in need. The committee asked for an accounting back on how the funds were used with each organization. And I just want to share just briefly a couple of parts of a couple of them, if I could, Mayor. So one, as this person talked about how their organization used the funds, she said that a new family moved to our area that had nothing, literally nothing, when they came here. The oldest boy came in to get packages and food and immediately put on his new jacket. He started to cry and told me that now he would not be cold anymore. Having that experience was just incredible and truly a blessing to me. Another organization leader, it was their first year participating, or her first year participating, and she said they helped 47 people that were directly affected by the generosity of the community. Families reached out to me. There were lots of tears of happiness from our families and honestly, myself. Another organization head said, he talked about how individuals and families were helped, and then he said, it is especially touching to witness the smiles, tears, and peace that come from those that receive these donations. In many cases, they were praying for help. Their feelings of hopelessness vanished and were replaced with gratitude and love. And one of the things that sometimes just touches the committee's heart is it's a blessing to be able to help those in need, but the giver is also blessed. And a lot of times we get feedback of the organizations being able to help people or someone donating, giving of themselves, how it changed them and made them feel better. And Mayor, like you said, that celebration is just as important as the fast, I think, itself. We come together. Last year we had about 400 people that came to the school auditorium. We had churches and schools give musical numbers. The mayor always gives remarks, so it's worth coming just for that. But we hear videos and accounts of how these monies bless people's lives. And so just thank the council for your support of this and the city and everyone that's donated. I know there's people, maybe they can't fast, but they want to donate, or maybe they're on a fixed income, and the widows might. Sometimes we focus on the large dollar amount, but the truth is the more money that's donated, the further it can go. But that's not the goal necessarily. The goal is to help our neighbors and to look out for each other. And so we appreciate your support on that. Mayor, I think Tom maybe wanted to say a word, if that's okay.
Mr. Mayor, council, staff, we together want to thank you very much for the years that you have lended support to this effort. It's been very important to the helping community. I don't know if you're aware of it, but this has been a pretty stressful year for the helping community, and funds are not readily available. Salvation Army provides food boxes and assists as she can with rent and that sort of thing, but they're out of funds before the month's out. I represent CCO. We are very grateful for the funds we get. We help people with housing and utilities, and there's a tremendous need out there. An apartment right now is $1,200, and the motels are being bought up by larger companies, and they're turning motel rooms into apartments. And these people have to come up with $1,200 a month. So it's a challenge. And we've been very grateful for the communities, Show Low and Pine Top Lakeside, and the surrounding area in supporting the fast. The original purpose as we came together was to have compassion on people in their time of need. Thanksgiving and Christmas is particularly stressful on families that are short on funds and resources. And out of that, we had a sense of compassion. And that compassion was directed towards us. Many people in the community have this thought, I want to help, but I don't know how. Well, by sacrificing a couple of meals a week and giving that money towards the helping community is a way that everybody can participate. They don't have to come to a meeting. They don't have to invest themselves in time and labor. But what they can do, because they care, is to experience personal sacrifice and then turn that into a gift to the helping community. It has been very important and meaningful. All of the schools receive funds from the fast. All of the helping agencies receive funds from the fast. And I wish that you could walk with us as we pass these checks out to the various schools and helping agencies and hear the gratitude is there. Thank you. We're so short. We're grateful to receive this to help us. And we need to remember this is something that we do, our community. The government does not do it. We're not depending on the government. We're depending on the gifts and the consideration, kindness of the people of the city of Show Low, Pine Top, Lakeside, Linden, and the surrounding country. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. And one other thing, I want to make a comment. I know this is a week, but it goes on through the holidays. We don't want people to think, oh, you can only donate that 1 week. This goes on throughout the holiday season. And I can tell you more about that Sunday, and I don't want to beat this up anymore, but what a way to kick off your holiday season when you're sitting there and you get these goosebumps that are jumping out of your shirt watching these videos and these people talking about, and almost tears in their eyes that they can help people in our community. So I think it's absolutely amazing, and I can't stress enough that the Sunday, Steve, you hit nail on the head. It's just amazing. That event, that one thing brings this community together, and everybody's just, it's quiet, all the songs, it's absolutely amazing. But I challenge you, anybody listening, please come out to that. And it really does make your heart grow when you know you've gave something to your community to kick off your own holiday season. So thank you guys again for everything. And has anybody got any comments? Or not, I'll give you your proclamation. Thank you guys again. Appreciate it. Okay, moving, next item on the agenda is new business, a public hearing consideration of prioritization of projects for community development grant funding and consideration of resolution number R 2025-40 authorizing submitting applications for community development block grant funds and rescinding resolution number R 2025-13. Man, that's a lot of numbers. Mrs. Adams.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Approximately $280,000 is being offered to the city of Show Low by the Arizona Department of Housing through the Community Development Block Grant, or the CDBG program. This program funds projects to assist persons of low to moderate income to prevent or eliminate slum and blight, or to solve an urgent need or health hazard. The first public hearing for this matter was held on December 5th of 2024 to obtain community input for the use of the CDBG funds. No public input was received at that public hearing. The City Council selected a project at a public hearing on April 15th, 2025, and adopted Resolution R 2025-13 for a sidewalk project along 9th Street. But the Arizona Department of Housing determined that the project did not meet slum blight area eligibility, despite having been approved for projects like this in the past. Tonight's public hearing is to solicit additional public input on possible projects for the CDBG funds. Following the hearing, the City Council may select a final Community Development Block Grant project to be submitted for application and to adopt an applicable resolution. Staff recommends using the funds to purchase the dining room of the senior center, which meets the criteria for the grant. Should the council, after hearing public input, accept the staff's recommendation and determine that the city's priority use of the 2025 CDBG funds is the purchase of the dining room of the senior center, staff will submit an application to the Northern Arizona Council of Governments.
Thank you. Before I do that, at this time, I'll open up to a public hearing. Seeing nobody sprint up here, I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the council for any comments, questions, or if there's no comments or questions, Councilman Adams, do you want to read the motion?
I have a quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Shannon, thanks for doing the grant. We appreciate it. So what is the benefit of us purchasing the dining room from the senior center as opposed to kind of the relationship we have right now with them?
So our hope is in the future that we'll be able to apply for additional CDBG funds to do a renovation of the building. The city cannot apply for grant funds to renovate a building that we do not own. So our hope is that by purchasing this last back of the room, we can do a full renovation on the entire building and bring it up to the level that we want it to be at.
So if we purchase the dining room, will we own the entire building?
Yes, sir.
In total, and that's the price that they've given us for the building is $280,000.
No, that's how much we are receiving in, that we're eligible for in grant funds. We're having an initial appraisal done. We don't have it yet, but we will make an offer based on the appraisal that comes in.
Okay.
And so we may not use the entire grant funding.
Okay. And how does this? I know for CDBG, usually we've like renovated or done a lot of stuff downtown and stuff, but how does this meet that criteria for us to purchase the building?
It's in this case, it will benefit people of moderate to low income. So our senior center serves seniors. Anyone over the age of 63 qualifies as a senior and automatically qualifies for low to moderate income.
Okay. The thing I was wondering is, I know there was some discussion at the retreat about redoing the Huning House, and I think that there wasn't funds available. So I don't know if this would be something that we could utilize those funds to redo the Huning House.
Well, hopefully, like Ms. Adams said, hopefully this money doesn't go all toward that, because you realize we own the front of that building, but not that little tiny room. So how they're going to appraise that, we have no idea. So maybe we can use some of the money for somewhere else, but it's got to be for, they've changed it because we can't, like before, we've used it for downtown area for sidewalks, and now we can't do it for that. And that's why that's changing to something like that.
Done too good of a job.
Huh?
We've done too good of a job in the downtown area.
So we have to use it toward like benefiting the seniors, or like she said, so it's kind of weird. So hopefully that if there's anything left over, we can use it for somewhere else, but their criteria has totally changed.
Yeah, I think that's for like slum and blighting, right? And wouldn't the Huning House meet that criteria as far as like a blighted building in our downtown area?
It could. It would be something that we could definitely look for future applications. There are other ways to apply, other CDBG opportunities that we could definitely do that as a project in the future.
And the other benefit I see too is owning the whole building. So now when we do renovations down there, we're not spending a lot of money out of our general fund. We have money that we can apply for grants to maybe redo the roof, the interior, do other things in there, but you can't, like you said, you can't do it because we only own the front half, not the back half.
So as time is of the essence with
It is.
the owner of the building has told us that they...
It's actually the deadline with the Department of Housing. And so they gave us the opportunity to come up with another project, but we have to submit the application by the end of this week.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is we couldn't... I guess we were soliciting public input for a project, and I'm guessing, so we don't really have time for another project. Is that what you're saying, or?
Well, this is one of the projects that was presented at the first public hearing, so it was on our list. So we're just kind of moving down the list of projects that were already presented at other public hearings. We could look into doing a different project. The problem is we would have to get approval from Department of Housing before we submitted the application, and we don't have time to do that in order to meet their deadline for the funds this time around. However, future opportunities do come available through the Department of Housing, and we can definitely apply for those on a competitive basis, hopefully in the next year.
So I guess if somebody came up from the public, when we had our public hearing, and they had a project that they would like us to use, maybe we can use what they wanted at a next grant cycle or something, use it for something else. Gotcha.
Correct.
That's kind of what you're talking about. Well, if they came up here, wanted it somewhere else, we couldn't change it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but we can change it for something else for the future.
Right.
So,
So the first public hearing, there were a couple of options presented, and the first public hearing, the public could have added more options at that point, and then we're deciding at this point based off of that public hearing.
any other questions, comments? Councilman Adams?
I move to apply for the Community Development Block Grant funding and approve the proposal project of the acquisition of the rear room of the senior center and in future. And further, I move to adopt resolution number R2025-40, authorizing the submission of the application of financial year 2025 Community Development Block Grant Fund, certifying that at least 51% of the project beneficiaries are elderly persons, and removing the renovation of resolution number R2025-40, rescinding resolution number R202513. That's a mouthful.
Easy for you to say, huh?
A lot. Thank you.
That, believe it or not, was a motion. I'll go ahead and second that motion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to the city for coming up with something in such a short notice, because I know it had to be done quickly, but the public, like I said, the public, open it to the public. They could have more ideas for future projects, so.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, consideration of a purchase of water stock parts, City of Show Low project number 7502686. Mr. Austin, it's your show tonight, huh?
It's okay. I'm a one-man show, or circus, however you want to say it. All right, Mr. Mayor and council, staff. Each fiscal year, the water department goes out to bid to replenish its water stock parts. The water department conducts an inventory of existing water stock parts before going out to bid, and then creates a list of needed stock parts for the next fiscal year. Historically, the annual bid for water stock parts has been under the $50 amount city council approval limit. However, this year, due to inflation and supply chain issues, what we're being told, the bid exceeded $50,000. These are parts that the water department needs to keep on hand for emergency repairs, and that local suppliers like Core and Main and Fort Line Waterworks do not keep in stock. Not having these parts in stock may cause long-term shutdowns of the city's water system. By keeping the parts on hand, staff can keep water flowing to all our citizens. On August 29th, 2025, and September 2nd, 2025, a request for sealed bids was advertised in the White Mountain Independent and was posted to the city's website. 3 companies submitted bids. Core and Main of Show Low at $74,378.38. Ferguson Waterworks of Chandler at $75,023.41. And Fort Line Waterworks of Lakeside at $86,739.47. Staff recommends the awarding of the purchase of the water stock part, City of Show Low project number 7502686 to Core and Main in the amount not to exceed $74,378.38. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. I've never seen this before, so do they, I've never thought of stocking water parts. It makes sense. Do they stock them? Do they put them somewhere? Because that sounds like a whole lot of parts.
They stock them certain parts, but there's a lot of hard-to-get parts that have long lead times. We keep them stocked down in another building. So we have them on hand in case in the middle of the night we have a water break, we can get to them
Okay.
pretty quick.
I've never seen us stock parts before. That's kind of weird. But
Well, we have, it's just been under the 50,000 threshold until this year.
Any other questions or comments or motions?
Make a motion.
Councilman Judd?
I move to award the purchase of water stock parts to Core and Main for the amount not to exceed $74,370.38.
Got a motion, got a second by Councilman Hatch. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Next item on the agenda is summary current events.
Go ahead, do you have anything? Go ahead. Just to remind everyone to go walk the meadow and look at the scarecrows, and there's a lot of really cool things they did down there, so it's pretty cool.
And crowded. We need a bigger parking lot. Anybody else? Thank you guys for coming tonight. I see the support for the chamber and the airport. It's nice to see. You next time maybe invite your staff with you. We appreciate it. Sorry it was such a long meeting, but the city manager is going to talk a little bit about our future meetings coming up in the next few months. But I just want to thank you guys for attending tonight. Usually our meetings don't last this long, but you'll know why here soon. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a few quick things. Of course, Halloween's coming up. We have a few Halloween-related events. Tomorrow, October 22nd, the Recreation Department will host a trick-or-treat trail for kids ages 10 and under, starting at 6 p.m. at the City Park. And Main Street presents their Halloween trunk-or-treat on Saturday the 25th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Hatch Toyota. And then the Turn of the Card Community Center will host a family-friendly Halloween event on October 31st from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Community Center. And in Public Works projects, we're paving over in Sierra Pines, and then we're also finishing up the water line project in Fools Hollow. Just appreciate everyone's patience as we get those done. And can go to the scheduling of the meetings, Mayor, if you're ready.
Excuse me?
I'll go to the scheduling of
Sure.
the meetings if you're ready.
Yep.
So due to the upcoming holiday schedule and per council's request, the city council will hold only one council meeting in the months of November, December, and January. The meetings will be on November 4th, December 9th, and January 20th. And just keep an eye on the city's website for any changes that may come up. Thank you.
Yeah, just to add to that, we had our retreat here a couple of weeks ago, and city council is going to be a little bit more flexible for not only weather, staff, and for our community as far as holding our meetings. They might not be the first and third, like the city manager said. Check the website to make sure we're having that meeting on that certain date. So anyway, thank you guys again very much for coming. It's nice to see people in the crowd, and I see no more business before this council. I'll adjourn this meeting.